CAA Hoops fans, welcome back to a brand new series called Fast Break. I'm your host, Griffin Della Penna, joined alongside our CAA insider, John Giannini. Coach, we're going to have some fun with this series, aren't we?
I think so. The CA is always a blast. Teams are winning big games. The league is very deep, and they're about to start to go head to head. The great CBS sports package. So we're all ready to dive into exciting conference play.
We absolutely can't wait. And before we get to that point, we're going to focus in this episode on the non-conference portion, some of those notable wins, who's maybe exceeding expectations, and everything in between. And to start out this episode, just like we will in every one moving forward, we're going to push the pace a little bit here, Coach, and go with some rapid fire questions. So we'll start the clock now if you're ready. Who's the team that has impressed you most thus far?
William and Mary, their style of play is amazing. Coaches say you're never comfortable against them. You never know where the trap or pressure is going to come from. They play fearlessly at a ferocious pace. This style of play is not a gimmick, it is proven.
Currently 64th in the net. How about a name of a player that fans really need to know about?
Chandler Cottrell, averaging over 20 points a game at Elon. He has not averaged double figures at his previous two stops. So this guy's catapulted himself at 6'8" and being versatile into one of the top scorers in the country. No one saw it coming, but this is the good thing about the portal. You can find the right fit.
Currently third in the nation. How about a player who has just really caught your eye on a national level?
Well, Cruz Davis, 36 at Pittsburgh in an ACC win. I think that'll get anyone's attention. And no surprise to CAA fans, a preseason first team all conference selection.
And maybe sticking with a pride theme here, a dynamic duo that has shown chemistry thus far.
Guards win in college basketball, and Cruz Davis, together with Preston Edmeade, gives Hofstra a dynamic duo backcourt. They have great chemistry. Guarding one of those guys is tough. Guarding two of them, almost impossible.
And those two guys, too, coach, are top two in terms of assists in the entire conference, one and two. So that was a good way to start. And I think now looking at some of the non-conference selections, there's currently three teams right now in the top 100 in terms of the net. That's the first time since the 2022 season. And you mentioned your team right now, William and Mary, kind of defying expectations thus far. What have you seen from them in terms of, again, being 64th in the nation right now?
So the arena's packed at William and Mary. The style of play is unlike anyone else in the country. College basketball does a lot of copycat things, but no one has been able to copycat what Coach Earls did starting at Cornell and now at William and Mary. They press off missed shots, not just makes, and they have a variety of different defensive calls. People think the defensive is random. It's actually very structured. Coach Earl is calling defensive presses, combinations of zones and mans, and are they going to trap early? Are they going to trap at half court? It confuses everyone. It's organized chaos according to William and Mary. To everyone else, it just looks like chaos. But offensively, that's unscripted. They are getting it. They're spaced. They're cutting. They're shooting threes. I had one coach say, I swear, all those players at William and Mary shoot 5 to 10 percentage points better than they would for any other coach because of the confidence and freedom that Coach Earl gives them.
And they have great distribution too. Four guys right now in double figures, and two others that are averaging over 9 points per game. So a whole lot of options offensively. And then we have to talk about Speedy Claxton and what he's doing right now in Hempstead. You mentioned Cruz Davis, that huge win against Pitt, but they've been bringing it all season long.
We talked about the guards. They're tremendous. Uh, Watch for Onuetu, the big center at 6'10", 280. This guy can run. He can block shots. He is a very high level player. So you have great guards. You got the big guy in the middle. You have Biggie Patterson at 6'8". You have Plotnikov at 6'7". So you have the skill in shot making in the backcourt. And you have terrific toughness and hard-nosed guys up front. They're not the deepest team in the country. Those guys, some people are already calling Coach Claxton the Tom Thibodeau of the CAA because he's going to demand defense. There's going to be no slacking, and those guys are going to play major minutes. And as an opposing coach, I wish he would sub more. I don't want to see that starting five for 35, 40 minutes. Those guys are monsters.
And the Pride, they certainly have things going. And our final team in the top 100 is UNCW. They are one of just 10 programs right now that have won at least 8 games in a row. Last year's winners, the Seahawks, they're also firing on all cylinders so far.
And they crushed the transfer portal with a lot of the top players from the CAA transferring in conference to North Carolina, Wilmington. Their challenge is going to be when strength of schedule elevates. Frankly, right now, their strength of schedule is in the 350s. They've played a lot of home games, but no one doubts the talent on this roster. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when the stakes get higher. But you're talking about one of the most talented teams in the CAA for sure with UNCW.
And the beautiful thing about the CAA right now, there's 2 teams that are outside the top 100 who have really defied expectations so far. Stony Brook and Elon, they were picked 11th and 12th in the preseason poll, and they currently so far have some of the best wins in non-conference.
Both of them had massive losses off of a Stony Brook team that struggled last year. Elon, a team that started out really, really fast and was really outstanding defensively, was one of the biggest teams in the country. This year, everything is flipped. Stony Brook now is an outstanding defensive team, and Elon, who was defensive last year, is now one of the best offensive teams in the country. And what Elon and Stony Brook tell me, and Stony Brook just coming off a win against Columbia, who came in with only one loss. That was a huge win. They went out west, beat a West Coast Conference team in Loyola Marymount. What that tells me is how deep the CAA is this year. And if I'm one of those top three, four, five teams, I wish I had some easy games on the schedule. Every coach does. Everyone wants a game that they can kind of think, okay, we should win this. I don't think that game exists in the CAA because of surprising great coaching jobs that have elevated programs like the ones at Stony Brook and Elon.
And talk about the parity. We haven't even discussed the preseason favorite so far in Towson, who in their own right, they picked up 2 huge wins against Liberty and URI down south during Thanksgiving week.
Well, Coach Scary has played a really tough strength of schedule. Going to Houston, he could have played a lot of games that he would have won in that situation. The championship game in their tournament after beating very good Rhode Island and Liberty teams. UC San Diego, they're coming off a 20 plus win season, and they're even better this year. So Towson has chosen to really challenge themselves non-conference, but Tejada and Williamson, 2 preseason first team all conference guys. Those guys are not going away. Coach Scary's football mentality, talking about the paint's the red zone and the ball is the line of scrimmage. That maniacal toughness isn't going away either.
Those are some of the highlights from non-conference play. And looking at this upcoming weekend slate, there are some good games, but there's one that jumps off the page. We've already talked a whole lot about Hofstra. They're going to travel upstate to central New York to take on Syracuse this Saturday. It could be their second ACC win of the week. And for Syracuse, they've already played 2 other CAA programs this year. So, Coach, what do you see in that matchup being potentially bulletin board material for Hofstra?
Yeah, well, I covered Syracuse Drexel. I had that game, and Drexel had 18 offensive rebounds in that game. Syracuse is very talented, looking everything like an NCAA tournament team. They had just beaten Tennessee at home recently. So Syracuse is the real deal. But Drexel wore down at the end, and a team with physicality showed they could give them trouble. The big guys for Syracuse are 6'9" and very athletic, but they're not the 280-pound guys like Onuetu. So the physicality up front for Hofstra could be a factor, and Cruz, Davis, and Preston Edmey, they could go up against any backcourt in the country. The blueprint is the Monmouth game. Monmouth hung in there at Syracuse in a single-digit game. If I'm Coach Claxton, I'm studying that tape and seeing how to give my guys the best chance. And the other thing is, as I said, Hofstra not going deep. Those guys are going to develop tremendous chemistry playing together, and they're going to play with tremendous confidence. So keep an eye on the Dome and up in Syracuse this weekend for sure.
Certainly going to be a great game. And like you mentioned in the beginning, Coach, conference play, it's almost here. And when it happens, we will certainly be ready to break everything down. Thanks for watching our first ever episode of CAA Fast Break.